Good morning, and welcome to the San Diego City College's Club Showcase Series. My name is Lori Oldham, and I am with the Office of Student Affairs, and I have the distinct pleasure of co-advising our Interclub Council. And this year, we've begun a program called our Showcase Series, and it was birthed out of all the wonderful things that the clubs that we have are doing, and I just wanted to share that information with you, and by asking the clubs to sign up and to take part in this wonderful opportunity to show the college community and others what they're doing during this pandemic. And I think you'll agree that they are amazing. So without further ado, I'd like to begin with introducing you to our club. And so today we have the Nursing Students Association. Emily, and I'll let you take it away from here. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for having us, Lori. We're excited to be here. Hi, guys. My name's Em. I'm the president of the San Diego City College Nursing Students Association. We have Noemi and Veronica here with us today, and I'll let them give a quick introduction and say what they do.
Hello, my name is Veronica, and I am the Breakthrough to Nursing Director at San Diego City College Nursing Students Association, and I am happy to be here.
Hi, my name is Noemi. I am the secretary on the board of directors for the Nursing Student Association, and what I do is draw up our agendas and send them out to everyone, and I'm there to collect our meeting minutes and then disperse them at the end of our meetings.
Thank you. Veronica and Noemi are both wonderful, as are all the rest of our board of directors. Unfortunately, some of them couldn't be here with us today because they are attending clinical rotations, giving out vaccines at family health centers right now, which is really exciting for us. We did prepare a little presentation for you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and start sharing that now. Okay. City College Nursing Students Association. We're going to talk a little bit about our purpose, goals, some of the accomplishments we've had this year, and some of the barriers that we faced with COVID. I wanted to start out with a quote from one of my favorite nurses, Virginia Henderson. She says, "The nurse is temporarily the consciousness of the unconscious, the love of life of the suicidal, the leg of the amputee, the eyes of the newly blind, a means of locomotion for the newborn, knowledge and confidence for the young mother, a voice for those too weak to speak," and so on. I love Miss Henderson because she was an advocate, and she really pushed to make sure that we treated people as holistic people and not just a disease process. So she shaped nursing in a big way. And that goes into our mission and values as this club. So our mission follows very closely with the National Students Nursing Association, the NSNA, and we are here to support our fellow students in preparing for the initial licensure as registered nurses, and to make sure that we convey the standards, ethics, skills that students will need as responsible and accountable leaders and members of this profession. Our values are also in line with the NSNA. We prize advocacy, leadership and autonomy, professionalism, care, diversity, and quality education. So we really like to try to approach things with cultural humility. The purpose of our club is to assume responsibility for contributing to nursing education, to provide programs representative of fundamental interests and concerns to us as students, and to aid in the development of the whole person, our professional role, responsibility for the healthcare, and people in all walks of life. That's really meeting people where they're at. We have a lot of goals. I won't read them through one by one for you because I think that'd be a little boring, but you can see what we have going on here. A lot of what we do is encouraging participation in those community affairs, activities towards healthcare. We look at social justice issues related to healthcare, and we really look at promoting and encouraging our student body to participate in interdisciplinary activities. So it's a big part of what we do. So how do we make it all happen, especially during this pandemic, right? It comes down to a lot of teamwork and collaboration, you know. So we work among ourselves as students and teams. We work with the faculty members. We work with the broader San Diego City college community, and we also work with various organizations within the San Diego community as a whole. So altogether, we've had various social and fundraising activities. We've had educational seminars, Q&As, tutorial sessions, and we do a lot of community service. Marlena is our community service director. She really is on top of making sure that we have opportunities to go out and be in the community and help where we're able. Some other things we've done, we're big components of advocacy, and part of that is advocating within our own profession. So we authored and passed a resolution promoting gender affirming care. That passed at the state level a couple months ago, and we are actually bringing it up to the national level. We are partnering with a school from New York that passed a similar resolution in their state, and it was really exciting to be able to partner with somebody that all the way on the other side of the country, and knowing that students from coast to coast, quite literally, are advocating for gender affirming care and for our transgender clients. I think that's really important. We do a lot of meetings like any club does, so board of director meetings, but also pinning committee, we're in charge of that. We do things with fundraising in order to promote these club activities. Breakthrough to Nursing, Veronica here is amazing. She works with reaching out to various people within the community that might be interested in nursing and making this program accessible to the community as a whole. We also release a newsletter bi-monthly where we address various issues, both just informational issues for our club and for the school, like regarding things regarding graduation, when to apply, that sort of thing. But we also look at broader cultural issues within the nursing profession. So just this month, we talked about women's history within nursing because it's Women's History Month. I was also able to do an interview with one of our Muslim students who talked about cultural humility and how to approach patients who might need a little bit of extra, I don't want to say extra care, but a little bit of a different approach than some other patients, and how to approach them. You know, so that's a big part of what we do with that. We actually added a director of cultural awareness board of director position this year, and Sveta is in charge of that, and she's also fantastic. She really knows what she's doing. So that's been very exciting to see her kind of take off with this new position and own it and make it her own, since it's brand new to us as a club. So other things we've done, just kind of in pictures here. We partnered with Trans Family Support Services to offer an educational seminar, not just to our students, but we also reached out to San Diego City College mental health and student services. We sent out this information to San Diego College of Continuing Education and to various family members within the community. So it was great to see some people from San Diego City College mental health in there and learning a little bit more about gender affirming care. We also work with the Breakthrough to Nursing. Every month we do something different with advocacy. Do you want to talk about this one a little bit, Veronica, since you were spearheading it?
Yeah, sure. So like Emily mentioned, we do a lot of community outreach and making nursing school or nursing the profession in general accessible to others who may struggle with just the basics of applying. So we reach out to the community, but then also we do a lot within our own cohort with our classmates. We do the mentor and mentee pairings. And as a cohort, we also do the national Breakthrough the Nursing Awards. So the very first month was breaking the stigma with STDs and STIs. And it was when we were still getting used to Zoom and Zoom classes. So we were able to put up little facts, bullet points in our backgrounds, and that really promoted breaking the stigma with STDs and STIs. And we've continued the theme of getting out there in our community and bringing awareness to the various themes that they have every month. And another one we did that was probably my favorite was partnering with a local Cub Scouts pack, and we helped them build fire trucks, and we gave them a squishy brain and talked about ways to handle stressful situations. So I really enjoyed doing that one, but all of them have been fun, and it's allowed us to become closer as a cohort and really still be involved in the community of San Diego.
So I've included some slides that kind of just show in pictures what we've done over the last year. Since we've had to really engage online, a lot of what we've done is putting out things like this on our Facebook group page, sharing in emails, things like that. So you can see we work with mental health, doing de-stress sessions. One of our professors, who is amazing, we're very lucky to have her, is also a yoga instructor, and she volunteers her time to engage with us. We've done tutorial sessions for our first year students, social events. We do mentorship programs like Veronica mentioned, skills practices with San Diego College of Continuing Education with their certified nursing assistant program. This is the TFSS training that I mentioned earlier. Do head to toe practice assessments. Family night is a great night where we engage not just with our first year students, but also with their family members to really help them understand what nursing school is going to look like, and kind of mentally prepare for the time commitment, the stress, all of that. This is another one that Veronica did with Breakthrough to Nursing with maternity health right now. Socials, fundraising events, and meet and greets. So you can see that we've really done a lot over this last year. Yeah, we have had some barriers as well. I think everyone has. It's been tough with the pandemic. So kind of transitioning into virtual events, figuring out how to make Zoom engaging, especially when you've spent time in front of the computer for your classes, and then you're trying to do it like more for social events or for extracurricular activities. It can be a lot of time in front of a screen. That online only, so just missing that face-to-face time. Limited resources, so fundraising opportunities. You know, in years prior, we might have had booths set up at various events, things like that. We haven't been able to do any of those kind of small fundraising activities because, you know, we're not in person, so we can't set up a booth. So figuring out how to do that online and how to get items out to people when we do have fundraising events, and even the increased costs of growing virtual, having to maintain a Zoom account, that sort of thing, in order to do these types of events. And then just school and work during a pandemic. I know a lot of our cohort are parents, so we didn't put that in the slide, but I want to mention it. You know, having kids at home during this pandemic has been, well, I'll let some of the parents here talk about it since I don't have them. Do you want to speak on this one, Veronica or Noemi?
Yeah, I can put a little input in there. Yeah, so having to share the internet, my internet was unstable earlier, so I had to kick my son off. But had this meeting been earlier, I wouldn't have been able to do that because today's early dismissal and he got out early from school. But I wouldn't have been able to ask him, can you get off the internet? I need like all the bandwidth because it's unstable. I'm going to be skipping here or lagging or whatever it's called. But yeah, having to share that internet, and then him during his lunch time, he's loud in the kitchen. So I don't have that complete quiet that I need, and very atypical. Yeah. You want to share, Veronica, your experience?
Yes, I agree. So it has been a lot. It's been really nice to have my son home and see him grow and see his thought process when he's in school and see how he kind of breaks things down. But at the same time, I see how I guess just sad he gets with that limited social interaction that he was used to. And, you know, I still get the questions, when is school going to open up and things like that. So it's a lot, but yeah, as I'm sure it is for all parents.
Yeah. And in addition to all of those barriers that every parent is facing, specific to nursing school, we're having atypical clinicals. A lot of hospitals canceled clinical rotations. So figuring out how to do clinicals virtually, figuring out where else to go in the community. It's been a barrier, but also an opportunity, because we have had the opportunity to engage in a lot of different types of nursing that perhaps we wouldn't have in years past. Instead of being just at the hospital, we've done a lot of community health work, a lot of work with long-term care, things like that, that in the past we might not have been able to engage with. So kind of a barrier, definitely with the virtual clinicals, but kind of an opportunity to engage with some different groups within the community. And I know a lot of our classmates work. There's just been an increased need for healthcare workers on the floor during this pandemic. So for a lot of our classmates that are working, there's an increased demand on their time at work. So those have been some of the barriers. But we still stayed active. We've grown along the way. We have over 30 active members right now within our club. We've put in over 665 hours collectively of volunteer hours, meeting hours, events, working to kind of bring this mission to life. And we partnered, like I said, with a lot of community, state, and national organizations to help us meet our goals. So that teamwork and collaboration has played in, not just for us as students, but also as we've reached out into the community. So yeah, it's a team effort. And if you guys want to follow us, we do have an Instagram. We also have a Facebook page, and we have our own website with a calendar of events. So feel free to check out any of those. Shoshana is our communications director, and she manages all of that. And she also manages our newsletter. The newsletter, if you guys are interested in reading it, is on our website at sdccnsa.webstars.com. So definitely encourage you to check that out. Show's amazing, and she's put in a lot of great work into it. And then I have some pictures just for fun, but before we go through them, Michelle, you were stepped in a little bit later. Would you like to introduce yourself and kind of tell everyone a little bit about what you do in the club?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm the current treasurer for the NSA, and my job is to manage our funds, whether it's collecting the dues from our current cohort or the subsequent cohort, or monitoring funds from fundraisers or outgoing money, just keeping track of where we're at to make sure we have enough funds in our account to support our pinning that is upcoming. But that's it. Anything with money is my job.
Yeah, Michelle's great. She keeps us on track, keeps us honest, keeps that documentation on point so we know exactly what's going on. So she's been a really great help over this last year and a half. So here are some pictures just from our Zoom meetings and clinicals, just so you guys can kind of see who it is that makes up our Nursing Student Association here. And then I'll go ahead and stop share. Yeah, and that's about it. Lori, do you have any questions for us or anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Em. Actually, I do. First of all, I'm so blown away, and to see how you all have overcome the barriers that you discussed in your presentation for each of you, and the ones that couldn't make it here today because they are working or they're doing their clinical hours. A phenomenal group of people. Nursing is certainly not just noble, it is truly a calling. And I thank you all for answering that call. And I think this is what I say about our clubs and why I felt the need that we should have our club showcase series for our clubs at San Diego City College, because the great things that you are doing is the greatest kept secret because of COVID. And so how could we, as a college community, come together and offer opportunities so that your peers, each other, and whoever may be viewing this right now can see the great work that you're still doing despite COVID-19. So I just wanted to congratulate you all for the passion that you have, and I guess the perseverance that you've built through these barriers, for continuing and maintaining your club activities. I was going to talk about one of the things that I tuned into a lot was your cultural humility statement and how you added that position. Can you talk about a little bit more about what you're discovering in terms of in learning what cultural humility is and how to exercise that as a caregiver?
Yeah, I actually love this question because even the term cultural humility is a little bit of a shift. In past years, we've talked about cultural competency, and we've kind of moved away from that term because cultural competency implies that there's some sort of set endpoint, that once you've attended enough webinars or educational seminars or whatever, you've learned enough and now you're competent and you're good, right? And so we're moving away from that terminology into cultural humility because it's really ever changing, right? Our understanding is changing, and we need to be able to engage in a humble manner and say, hey, I am not an expert. If it's especially for a culture that I'm not directly involved in, I am not an expert, and being humble enough to allow people who are a part of that culture to really engage with us and let us know what's going to be most helpful for them. It makes me think of one of the community groups that I'm involved with is the Center, and they talk about the platinum rule, which is instead of treat people how you want to be treated, to treat people how they want to be treated. So I kind of think of it in those terms of really being able to engage with somebody and learn more about how they want to be treated so that we can move forward and do that platinum role, you know? So Sveta is a great, I really wish she could be here to talk about it because she's fantastic. She took on this role. It was brand new. We followed a lot of the bylaws from the National Students Nursing Association and the California Nursing Students Association. So again, we weren't alone in this. We collaborated in order to create this position and figure out how this position would even function and how it would work. And a lot of what Sveta has been doing is, in addition to doing her own educational things and encouraging people to engage with those, she's also been kind of promoting some of the things the San Diego City College has been doing as well. Because, you know, for Black History Month, there were some amazing webinars out there. For Women's History Month, San Diego City College has again, an entire calendar of events with all of these great things, and kind of picking out things that are going to be very relevant to nursing and promoting that to our student body has been a big part of what she's doing as well. And then our newsletter, if you guys go onto the website and read it, you'll see we're really trying to take a more active role in addressing things like systemic racism and bias within healthcare, bias against transgender patients within healthcare. So these are things that we're starting to engage with a little bit, and we hope to continue to engage with. We hope the next class takes that on as well, so that as students, we can go out there as we start our nursing journey and we pass the NCLEX and become RNs and really be advocates for our patient. Because one of the most amazing things about living in San Diego, something that I love about it, is just how diverse our communities are. The San Diego County is an extremely diverse county with so many different walks of life. And being able to understand that to provide the best care for our patients, we need to be aware of that, and we need to be able to ask questions and approach our practice in that humble way is a lot of what we're doing. So does anyone else want to speak on this?
I just wanted to piggyback on what you said about Svetlana. I really look forward to reading our newsletters because of her input on different cultures. I have so much to learn, and just reading those is so informative. And I have made it a point to go out and do some research, because she points out things that I would never have considered. Just as an example, the very last newsletter, she was talking about her interview, I guess, with a Muslim student, right? And they were talking about the hijab, and I didn't realize that you should offer, during surgery, to do you want me to keep your hijab in place, or in labor and delivery, do you want me to adjust your hijab, or is that something that you're going to do yourself? It's stuff that I didn't even realize or think to consider. So I really look forward to what her input from that. And I would encourage the people, like Emily said, to subscribe to the newsletter. It's enlightening. Thank you.
It sounds like, well, first of all, in this ever-changing world, you all are adapting in a phenomenal way. Those pearls of wisdom that you both just dropped are things that are so important culturally that could make a difference in somebody's care, and also their ability to heal and get released from the hospital, or those things are so important. And by breaking those barriers, I'm proud of you all, because not only are you're dealing with a patient physically with their physical needs, but you're treating them as an entire person. And I love how you talked about cultural humility being replacing the competency, right? Because competency sounds like I learned it, it's under my belt, and so I'm good. But the truth of the matter is, it's the humility in exercising that competence, if that's what you wanted to say, just that that you're aware about it, is so extremely important. I was wondering, how has the pandemic, first of all, have you any of you been involved with giving pandemic vaccine injections anywhere in San Diego?
Yes, definitely. I'll ask first if any of you guys want to talk about it. Since I already answered the last question, I don't want to dominate the time. So Michelle, Veronica, Noemi, do you guys want to take this one?
No, you're speaking so well. I'm going to let you continue. I love it.
Well, this is actually one I'm really excited about. So I'll go for it. We've been working with Family Health Centers of San Diego, and this is one of those examples of a clinical rotation that in the past we probably wouldn't have had, because we would have been working at a hospital setting. So it's been really exciting to be with Family Health Centers of San Diego. I love their history. I love their work that they do within the community. And right now, a large part of what they're doing is these vaccination clinics. So they run vaccination clinics at various locations. And we are currently helping out with that as part of our clinical rotation in our leadership class. So we're there in mass. If you go in and get a vaccination, you will see us in the bright red shirts and the black pants. Can't miss us. And we're helping out with anything from observation after the vaccine, actually giving the vaccine, doing injections, helping out with registration, filling out forms, helping out with crowd control. So we really, from start to finish, have been able to see the entire process of how a vaccination clinic is run, which has been amazing for our leadership class in particular, because it's showing us how to do a clinic from start to finish, the entire workflow from start to finish, which I think is so important, because we want to get these vaccines out into the community, but we also want to make it so it's not this really intimidating thing, right? You want it to be easy for people to come in and get their vaccine, and not for it to be, oh my gosh, am I going to have to wait in line? How long am I going to have to wait in line? Where do I even get in the line? Like, how do I get an appointment? Like, there's so many things that can be scary around the vaccine. So providing that patient education on CDC guidelines, talking to people on the phone and letting them know that the vaccine's available to them, doing scheduling, like all of it we've been able to be involved in, which has just been really amazing. And I have to give a big shout out to Family Health Centers of San Diego for letting us be there and letting us be involved.
Well, I just have to say this, because while I'm never surprised by what your nursing association or the other clubs on campus, well, I'm never surprised what you do. I'm always extremely amazed. The fact that you've taken, I mean, you've just described to me some silver lining, right, to a pandemic that we're all experiencing in different ways. And, that making that lemonade out of lemons, right? The opportunities. And I will say that I am a little curious what you anticipate. I have my first vaccination today. So I'm like taking a lunchtime, and it's, I'm going to go. I don't know what to anticipate, but, making the decision to go and finding out about it and chasing appointments, like that's part of, I think that without experiencing and all the don't knows about it, but it takes a lot of work to get an appointment at this point in time. And but I'm grateful that I'll be going today, and I'll have to share with you my experience. But I wish I was taking it from one of you all. That way, I think I would feel a little bit more at ease, since I am familiar with you all. And I just want to thank you all for showing up for San Diego City College, for showing up for the nursing students, and for showing up for our community. You all are killing it out there, doing phenomenal work. It's been exciting listening to this journey. I wanted to know if I could just ask you all to say one sentence with your pearls of wisdom, because I'm just telling you, I've learned a lot of great things today. And what is, in one sentence, what kind of advice would you give to students right now that are experiencing the barriers that you talked about, or that are frightened, or that are suffering mental health wise? A lot of us are. This pandemic is not a joke. Well, what, in one sentence, can you sum up like advice to them to keep going, so to motivate them? Em, shall I start with you and then work to Naomi, Veronica, and Michelle?
I mean, if I was going to boil it down to just 3 words, it would be phone a friend, right? Like, we've talked about teamwork and collaboration a lot, and it's not just in getting these goals done, it's also in surviving this year, right? Our cohort has been so amazing. And I know that I've had times where I just felt overwhelmed with everything that was going on, the amount of work, things going on at home. I mean, everyone has things that they're going through, right? And just don't feel like you have to be alone in it. You can contact other students, you can contact friends, you can contact family members, you can reach out to San Diego City College's mental health department. They do free counseling sessions, and they will help you get set up with some tools that you might find useful in managing stress and figuring out this crazy year, right? So yeah, if I could boil it down to 3 words, it'd just be phone a friend. Don't be alone, whatever you're going through. Reach out. It's okay. There's no shame in reaching out. It's actually a sign of strength that you're able to be vulnerable with someone and say, hey, I need a little assistance right now, and you're also providing them the opportunity to do the same, right? They might be in the exact same boat and just not feel comfortable reaching out. So when you're reaching out, you're helping yourself, and you're also possibly helping them. So that would be my advice.
Thank you. Naomi?
Yes, so my advice, take it easy. I look on the bright side of things. Take a step back, just say, okay, terrible day. What's going to make me really happy right now? I'm gonna do that. For me, popcorn, pickles, and a movie.
Noemi, I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name. Thank you so much, because sometimes it's just the little things, right? What about you, Veronica?
So mine kind of aligns with that as well, but do what you love. So if it's running, working out, or whatever creative outlet you have, don't forget to make time for that, even if it's kind of altered with COVID. Just try to make time for it in some way.
Thank you. And Michelle? Are you there, Michelle? I think we might be experiencing some technical difficulties, but I appreciate, let me just say again, thank you so much for preparing such a wonderful presentation, for showing up with your bright, shiny faces and the passion that you all demonstrate in the work that you're doing at San Diego City College and in our community. We appreciate you so much. I'm looking forward. I don't know how your pinning ceremony is going to take shape this year, but I look forward to, I want to see it with certainty. So thank you all for your time. Thank you for the work you do. And for those of you that were viewing today, we thank you so much for joining us today. As you can see, this is a really important program because the phenomenal work that's coming from our students in our student clubs and organizations is really unmatched. San Diego City College is really a place where our students can shine, and this is just proof positive. So again, thank you so much for your presentation today, Nurse M, Noemi, Veronica, Michelle, and to the other members that couldn't join us today. And for you out there that tuned in, thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned for next week when we'll have another club surprise for you. Anyway, take care, have a great weekend, and be safe.